Situated amidst the majestic Himalayas, the small nation of Bhutan stands as a remarkable anomaly in today's interconnected world. Renowned for its commitment to preserving its unique cultural heritage and prioritizing gross national happiness over materialistic growth, Bhutan has earned the reputation of being the most isolated country in the world. This essay explores the factors that contribute to Bhutan's isolation, the impact it has on the nation's development, and the significance of preserving such isolation in an increasingly globalized world. One of the primary reasons for Bhutan's isolation is its geographical location. Tucked away in the eastern Himalayas, the country is landlocked and shares borders with India and China. The rugged mountainous terrain makes travel and communication challenging, effectively limiting external influences. Bhutan's topography and remote valleys have acted as natural barriers, safeguarding the nation's cultural integrity and providing a sanctuary for its unique way of life. Bhutan's geographical location is a significant contributing factor to its isolation. Nestled in the eastern Himalayas, the country is landlocked and surrounded by mountains, making it geographically secluded from the outside world. The rugged and treacherous terrain presents numerous challenges for transportation and communications, effectively limiting external influences. The Himalayan mountain range, with its towering peaks and deep valleys, act as a natural barrier, isolating Bhutan from neighboring countries. The country's borders are shared with India to the south and China to the north. However, the mountainous terrain makes border crossings difficult and limits the flow of people and goods. The mountainous landscape also results in the creation of isolated valleys and communities within Bhutan. These valleys, such as the Paro Valley and Punakha Valley, are relatively secluded, fostering a sense of cultural preservation and unique traditions. The isolation of these valleys has allowed distinct cultural practices and beliefs to flourish, contributing to the overall cultural richness of Bhutan. Furthermore, Bhutan's topography is characterized by steep slopes, dense forests, and swift-flowing rivers. These natural features make infrastructure development and connectivity a considerable challenge. Building roads and bridges across the rugged landscape requires significant engineering efforts and investment. As a result, the transportation network in Bhutan remains relatively limited, contributing to the country's isolation. Moreover, the geographical isolation of Bhutan has influenced the nation's relationship with the outside world. Historically, Bhutan maintained a policy of self-imposed isolation, emphasizing the preservation of its unique culture and sovereignty. This isolationist stance was partly a response to geopolitical dynamics and the desire to protect Bhutan's independence. While modernization and technological advancements have made the world more interconnected, Bhutan has remained committed to maintaining its geographical isolation to protect its cultural heritage, environment, and identity. The limited external influences have allowed the country to retain its distinct traditions, language, and architecture, which are deeply intertwined with the local geography. In conclusion, Bhutan's geographical factors, including its mountainous terrain, landlocked location, and isolated valleys, contribute significantly to its status as the most isolated country in the world. The rugged landscape serves as a natural barrier, limiting external influences and fostering the preservation of Bhutan's cultural heritage. While it presents challenges in terms of connectivity and development, the geographical isolation also provides a sanctuary for Bhutan's unique way of life, making it a truly remarkable and distinctive nation. The Bhutanese government has been instrumental in preserving the country's isolation. It has maintained strict regulations on tourism, limiting the number of visitors and promoting sustainable tourism practices. The policy of high-value, low-impact ensures that Bhutan receives discerning travelers who appreciate the nation's cultural and environmental treasures. By exercising control over tourism, Bhutan has effectively managed to maintain its isolation from mass tourism and the associated challenges of cultural erosion and environmental degradation. The government of Bhutan has implemented a series of policies that contribute to the country's isolation. One of the key policies is the concept of gross national happiness, or GNH, which was coined by the fourth king of Bhutan, Jigme Singye Wangchuck, in the 1970s. Unlike the conventional measure of gross domestic product, or GDP, GNH focuses on holistic development and the well-being of the Bhutanese people. The policy of GNH has shaped various aspects of Bhutan's governance and development strategies. It encompasses 4 pillars: sustainable and equitable socio-economic development, conservation and promotion of cultural values, preservation and sustainable use of the environment, and good governance. By prioritizing these pillars, the government ensures that the nation's development aligns with the values and aspirations of its people. One of the ways the Bhutanese government has maintained isolation is through its approach to tourism. The government tightly controls the number of tourists allowed to visit Bhutan each year through a high-value, low-impact policy. Tourists are required to pay a minimum daily tariff, which includes accommodation, meals, transportation, and a sustainable tourism royalty. This approach not only limits the influx of visitors, but also promotes responsible and sustainable tourism practices. Moreover, Bhutan has limited the number of flights into the country, making it more challenging for mass tourism to take hold. These measures have successfully preserved Bhutan's cultural heritage and prevented the negative impacts associated with unrestricted tourism, such as overcrowding, cultural dilution, and environmental degradation. Furthermore, Bhutan has maintained a cautious stance towards globalization and external influences. The government has adopted a controlled approach to modernization, selectively integrating aspects of global development while preserving Bhutan's unique cultural identity. This includes carefully managing the introduction of technology, foreign investment, and cultural exchanges to ensure they align with Bhutan's values and do not disrupt the social fabric. Additionally, Bhutan's government has implemented policies to promote self-sufficiency and reduce dependence on external resources. For example, the country aims to achieve food self-sufficiency by prioritizing organic farming and reducing reliance on imported agricultural products. By prioritizing self-reliance, Bhutan ensures its resilience and maintains its isolation to some extent. Overall, Bhutan's government policies, including the focus on gross national happiness, controlled tourism, selective modernization, and self-sufficiency, play a vital role in maintaining the country's isolation. These policies have allowed Bhutan to preserve its cultural heritage, protect its environment, and prioritize the well-being of its citizens in an increasingly interconnected world. Bhutan's isolation has played a pivotal role in safeguarding its rich cultural heritage. The country's commitment to preserving its traditions, language, and architecture has remained unwavering. Bhutan's official policy on gross national happiness, which focuses on holistic development and cultural preservation, has garnered international acclaim. The isolation has allowed Bhutan to protect its ancient monasteries, unique festivals, and intricate art forms, providing a sense of continuity and identity for its people. Bhutan is renowned for its commitment to preserving its rich cultural heritage, which is deeply ingrained in the fabric of society. The country's isolation has played a vital role in safeguarding its unique cultural traditions, customs, and practices. One of the key factors contributing to the preservation of Bhutan's cultural heritage is the government's unwavering dedication to gross national happiness, GNH, and sustainable development. The GNH philosophy places great emphasis on the preservation and promotion of cultural values as one of its pillars. This commitment is reflected in the integration of cultural heritage in the national curriculum, ensuring that Bhutanese youth are educated about their traditions from an early age. Bhutan's isolation has provided a protective shield against external cultural influences, allowing the nation to maintain its distinct identity. The limited exposure to mass tourism and globalization has helped prevent the erosion of Bhutan's cultural practices and beliefs. Traditional ceremonies, festivals, and rituals continue to be celebrated with great fervor throughout the country, acting as vibrant expressions of Bhutanese cultural heritage. Religion, particularly Buddhism, plays a significant role in Bhutanese society. The country is dotted with monasteries, temples, and sacred sites that have been carefully preserved over the centuries. These religious landmarks serve as repositories of Bhutanese spirituality and art, with intricate paintings, sculptures, and murals that depict religious narratives and cultural stories. In addition to religious monuments, Bhutan's architecture is another aspect that reflects its cultural heritage. The national Bhutanese architecture, characterized by colorful painted wooden houses, intricately carved motifs, and distinct dzongs, fortresses, has been preserved throughout the country. Strict building regulations ensure that new construction aligns with the traditional architectural style, blending harmoniously with its natural surroundings. The Bhutanese government actively supports cultural festivals and events that promote the preservation of cultural heritage. The most famous of these is the annual Seshu festival, which is celebrated in every district of Bhutan. During these festivals, locals gather in their finest traditional attire to witness masked dances, religious performances, and rituals that have been passed down through generations. Furthermore, Bhutan has implemented policies to promote cultural tourism, allowing visitors to experience and appreciate the country's cultural heritage firsthand. The controlled tourism approach ensures that tourists respect and engage with Bhutanese culture and traditions, contributing to the sustainability of cultural preservation efforts. Overall, Bhutan's isolation has been instrumental in preserving its cultural heritage. The government's commitment to gross national happiness, the influence of Buddhism, the strict preservation of religious sites and architecture, and the celebration of cultural festivals all contribute to the conservation and promotion of Bhutanese cultural heritage. Bhutan serves as a shining example of how isolation can be harnessed to protect and nurture cultural traditions in a rapidly changing world. Bhutan's isolation has also been instrumental in the preservation of its pristine environment. The nation has adopted an innovative approach to development by placing environmental conservation at the forefront. Bhutan is one of the few countries in the world that is carbon negative, meaning it absorbs more carbon than it emits. The nation's isolation has enabled it to implement sustainable practices and maintain the integrity of its ecosystems, protecting rare species and ensuring ecological balance. Bhutan is known for its commitment to environmental conservation, and its isolation has played a pivotal role in preserving the country's pristine ecosystems and biodiversity. One of Bhutan's most notable environment conservation initiatives is its pledge to remain carbon neutral. In fact, Bhutan goes beyond neutrality and is considered a carbon-negative country, meaning it absorbs more carbon dioxide than it emits. The country's dense forests, covering over 70% of its land, act as carbon sinks, effectively mitigating the impact of greenhouse gas emissions. Bhutan's isolation has allowed these forests to flourish, ensuring the integrity of its natural carbon sequestration systems. The government of Bhutan has implemented strict policies and regulations to protect its natural resources. These include laws that govern forest conservation, wildlife protection, and water management. Bhutan has maintained a ban on commercial logging, ensuring sustainable forest management practices and safeguarding the diverse range of flora and fauna found within its borders. The country has also established a network of protected areas, national parks, and biological corridors, providing habitat for endangered species such as the Royal Bengal tiger, snow leopard, and black-necked crane. Bhutan's isolation has helped preserve its ecosystems by limiting the impact of external forces such as pollution, deforestation, and overexploitation of natural resources. The limited industrial development and controlled tourism approach have mitigated the negative environmental effects that often accompany rapid economic growth and mass tourism. Moreover, Bhutan has embraced sustainable development practices, incorporating environmental conservation into its national policies. The government's commitment to gross national happiness includes a focus on the sustainable use of natural resources and the protection of the environment. This holistic approach ensures that economic development is pursued in harmony with nature, promoting the well-being of both the people and the environment. While Bhutan's isolation has served as a protective shield, it also presents challenges and opportunities. The lack of connectivity poses difficulties in terms of infrastructure development, healthcare access, and educational resources. However, it has also provided an opportunity for Bhutan to cultivate self-reliance and prioritize the well-being of its citizens over economic expansion. The isolation has encouraged Bhutan to adopt a balanced approach to development, combining traditional values with selective aspects of modernity. Bhutan, as the most isolated country in the world, has harnessed its unique geographical and policy-driven isolation to preserve its cultural heritage, protect its environment, and prioritize the well-being of its citizens. The nation's commitment to gross national happiness, sustainable tourism, and environmental conservation has inspired many across the globe. As our world becomes increasingly interconnected, Bhutan's isolation stands as a reminder of the importance of preserving cultural diversity nurturing environmental stewardship, and seeking a balanced approach to development.